Welcome to the Fit Chicks and Hormones podcast, where we focus on all things midlife, hormones, and how to finally feel good in your body again. I'm Angie, a fellow midlife survivor, here to help you stop guessing and finally get results with hormone smart habits that actually work. Let's get started. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fit Chicks and Hormones podcast. I'm Angie Marone, your host, and today I want to start by asking you a question. Does this sound like you? You are eating healthy organic vegetables, you're eating the grass-fed meat, you're avoiding processed foods, you've cleaned up your diet so much, your pantry looks like Whole Foods, looks like all healthy foods, yet the scale doesn't budge. You don't have any energy, and you just don't feel good in your clothes or your body. If you answered yes, today I'm going to share with you the 6 missing pieces that matter just as much as eating clean, and why your hormones don't care if you're doing all the things right, and if your kale is organic, if you are missing these fundamentals. So if you feel like I'm eating clean, and I hear this a lot. I do. I have conversations with women, and they share, and I look over their food logs, and I see like they're eating pretty clean. That's where we have to get into these little pieces that may be missing, okay? And these are the questions that I ask with women when I come in contact with them. If they're struggling with that, I've looked at what they've been eating, and I'm like, well, let's ask these questions, okay? So let's jump right in. So the first thing that you may be missing is you're not eating enough protein. And I've been talking about this for a while. Or you're eating it wrong. So why is protein an important part to your hormones? Because everything that I talk about is in relation to your hormones. Because if you're in your perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopausal years, you have to take into account what's happening with your hormones. Okay, so that's why I'm going to explain all these pieces in how they matter to your hormones as well. So when estrogen is declining in perimenopause and menopause, what happens is it's accelerating your muscle loss by up to 8% per year. And the less muscle you have, the slower your metabolism is. And your metabolism is what helps you to burn fat, okay? And protein does 3 hormone critical things. First, it stabilizes your insulin, and when insulin spikes constantly because you're eating carbs first, it blocks fat burning and promotes fat storage, and especially around the belly area, which the majority of you are complaining about or not getting results, not seeing that change, right? Second, adequate protein supports thyroid hormone production and conversion of T4 to T3, or T4 to active T3. This is another thing that is happening if you're in perimenopause and menopause. Your thyroid is having a little bit of wonkiness going on, okay? And the third thing, protein provides the amino acid building blocks that your body needs to make neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, giving you energy, which also directly impact your mood and your cravings, okay? So let me ask you this. Are you tracking your protein to make sure you're eating around 25 to 35 grams at each meal? And or you're getting over 100 grams of protein per day? Are you digging into your protein before you're eating the bread, the pasta, the potatoes? Or maybe you're not even eating protein at every single meal like you should be. If not, that is where you need to focus. You need to make sure you're eating 25 to 35 grams at every meal, getting over 100 grams of protein every single day. And before you dig into those carbohydrates, you need to eat your protein first. So here's what I suggest. Track your foods for a week. If you don't want to do all your meals, just track your protein. And when you go to sit down, you want to dig into your protein or your vegetables first. Not the bread, not the pasta, not the rice, okay? Look at your plate. When you put food on your plate, do you have protein on there? If you're eating a bowl of cereal or a piece of toast or oatmeal, that does not have enough protein. Those are all carbs. Those are starches, right? They're going to spike your blood sugar. So you need to add some protein to them, which is funny. And my clients, I tell them all the time, you can have a bowl of cereal, just add some protein powder to that milk, and you're going to have protein cereal. Pretty easy, right? Just by focusing on those two things, you're going to see less insulin spikes, less cravings, and you're going to see the inches start to drop. So that's the first piece, protein. The second thing that you could be missing, even though you're eating clean, is the timing of your meals. So how is this affecting your hormones? Well, if you're only doing one meal a day, or you're skipping breakfast and you're just snacking all day long, it puts stress on your hormones. Your hormones run on circadian rhythms. They expect to be eating at predictable times. When you skip meals, your adrenals pump out cortisol to raise your blood sugar, making your body think it's in danger. This cortisol spike happens every time you go too long without food. And chronic elevated cortisol levels block leptin, which is your hormone that tells you you are full. And it keeps that leptin from reaching your brain so that you never truly feel satisfied, you're always hungry, and it promotes insulin resistance. So on the flip side, if you're eating all day long, it keeps your insulin elevated because it's just up here all the time because it doesn't have a chance to drop because you're eating, which in turn prevents you from burning fat. And when you're in perimenopause and menopause, you're already dealing with more insulin resistance due to declining estrogen. So eating irregular meals is going to make this even worse. So what should you do instead? You want to eat 3 meals and a mid-afternoon snack and eat them around the same time each day. Also, you want to make sure you're eating within 90 minutes of waking up. Now, I tend to eat about 5 or 6 meals. I'm not eating all day, but because of the time of my days, I get up early, and timing things around my workouts, I eat about 5 to 6 times a day. But I'm not snacking in between because I'm full, because I'm satisfied, right? And I'm making sure I have enough protein. So eating 3 meals, a mid-afternoon snack, and eating within 90 minutes of waking up, okay? Your body is already in a stressed out state of fasting throughout the night. So by eating, that calms down your cortisol, which allows your body to burn fat. So you have number 1, eat your protein. Number 2, time your meals accordingly. Make sure you're eating enough meals. The third thing you could be missing, the one that I find that most women that I coach or that I work with, you're under eating. Yeah, you're probably eating cleaner, but when you cut out all the processed foods and the enormous amounts of carbohydrates you were eating before, you're going to drop your calories considerably. And maybe that's in too low of a range because you've maybe already been dieting down, right? And how does under eating affect your hormones? Well, it sends a starvation signal to your hypothalamus, which controls all your hormones. Your body thinks that there's a famine, like it's going to starve. So it downregulates your thyroid hormones to conserve energy, which makes you feel tired, which doesn't give you energy. This is why your metabolism feels broken and you don't see the scale move. This is why when I am in a cut phase and I'm dropping my calories for myself or my clients, you're going to feel a little bit more tired, okay? Because your body is trying to hold on to fat. What also happens is it elevates it also elevates cortisol chronically, which breaks down muscle tissue for glucose and stores fat around your organs. That's not what we want. When you have a lot more fat around your organs, what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot more health issues. But what I really want you to pay attention to and know is your ovaries need adequate calories and nutrients to produce your hormones. You need to eat to keep your hormones in balance. When you undereat, hormone production shuts down as a survival mechanism. mechanism. Wow, I am stumbling over my words today. Sorry, but there's no editing when it comes to this. Um, and this is why you feel horrible. And this is why restrictive diets often, if you have a cycle, your period's gonna stop. You're gonna have worse hormonal symptoms because your body literally can't make progesterone, which you desperately need for sleep. So your sleep is gonna be disrupted. You're gonna have mood swings, and your metabolism is gonna slow way down without enough fuel. This is why you can't lose weight and why you feel horrible on top of that. So how can you fix this? Track your foods. We're already tracking our foods to make sure we're getting enough protein, right? So track all of your foods to make sure you're eating enough calories. Most of my clients are shocked when they find out they're only eating around 1,400 to 15 calories. And they think, oh my gosh, I'm eating way more than I should be. That is way too low. And they wonder why they feel horrible. Excuse me. You need enough fuel to support your metabolism, not just to survive. You could eat 12 to 1,400 calories if you just laid in bed all day long every day and did nothing. Absolutely nothing. None of us, and no woman that I know, lives that way, right? And 15 calories is not enough. If you want to know how many calories you should be eating, reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, and I can help figure that out for you. I'll do it for free. We'll figure it out so you know where you should be eating, okay? So that's number 3. You're probably eating clean, but you're not eating enough food to fuel your body and to keep your hormones functioning properly. The number 4 piece that you may be missing is your detox pathways are stuck. This is why I just did like a gut health challenge with some girls on my free Fit Chicks and Hormones community, because you're eating a lot of junk and your body's full of inflammation. We need to get rid of that, right? If you've been eating a lot of processed foods, you eat out a lot, eating the junk for years and years, and then you decide to just eat clean, that doesn't mean that your body's just automatically going to be detoxed. It's still circulating through your body. It's a process, and here's how it affects your hormones and your weight loss ability. So your liver processes all of your hormones. Your poor little liver has to do so much work, and if you are overloading it with junk, and I'm not just talking about food, I'm talking about chemicals in the air, talking about stress, it has to do so much. Your poor little liver. We need to give it love. So, but your liver processes all your hormones, like your body's hormone recycling center, right? So it has to clean everything out of your body. Used estrogen gets broken down in the liver and eliminated through bile and stool. But if your detox pathways are sluggish, these metabolized hormones get reabsorbed and recirculated, creating estrogen dominance. This is especially problematic during perimenopause and menopause, when progesterone is already declining faster than estrogen. This is something I've done a podcast on. If you want to know what that is, you can look back or ask me and I will get that to you, right? We don't want the extra estrogen circulating through our body. It's just causing more problems. We need to detox it. We need to get it out of our body. Estrogen dominant symptoms include unable to lose weight or more weight gain, mood swings, heavy periods, and the stubborn belly fat you can't get rid of. Plus, environmental toxins compete for the same detox pathways, and there's so much. They're like a traffic jam. Everything's trying to go through that poor little liver, and it's like, yo, stop. I can't. And what happens? More toxins build up in our body. Your liver just can't keep up. And those toxins, they get stored in your fat tissue, which makes losing the ability for you to lose fat even harder. So, how can you fix this? You need to support your body's ability to detox by eating more fiber. That means more vegetables. You should be eating about 25 to 35 grams of fiber. Hydrating, drinking lots of water. You need to flush it out. If you're not drinking your water and flushing it out, it ain't going nowhere. It's staying in, right? You should be having daily bowel movements. If not, you need to figure out why and get that remedied. And don't just take a fiber supplement. Eat your vegetables. Drink your water first. You can detox by sweating. So sitting in a sauna or, doing a hot bath, something like that. Eating cruciferous vegetables. I talked about that. Your green leafy vegetables like broccoli sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, those are still going to be good for you. Do dry dry skin brushing. I do that every single morning. Every morning. It takes literally 2 minutes. You can do it before you get in the shower. Don't do those expensive cleanses. Don't take those diet cleanse pills. That's not going to help. You can do this naturally and have your body do it the right way, okay? So that's the number 4 piece is you need to help your body detox. Clean that out so your body can function the way it needs to. And your body can let go of fat. The number 5 piece that you may be missing is you are not managing stress. You've heard me talk about this over and over again. You can eat perfectly, but if you are constantly on the go and stressed out, nothing is going to change. This is another thing that I have to address so often with the women I work with. Because we are doing all the things. We have a lot to do, and I totally understand that. And this is probably the last piece that we all think about, right? But I'm going to share with you how stress affects your hormones and your weight loss efforts. So hopefully you will take it seriously and realize, yeah, I gotta get a handle on this stress, okay? So stress hormones override everything else. When you're stressed out, your adrenals release cortisol, which tells your body, we are in danger, store energy for survival. What is that energy? It's fat. And when you're under eating, that's also gonna cause more stress on your body. So these two kind of go hand in hand. If you're stressed out and you're not eating enough, definitely gonna be storing more body fat. What happens is this shifts your metabolism into fat storing mode, like I just said, especially around your belly. Okay, this is where the cortisol receptors are the highest, and especially because our estrogen is dropping. Estrogen usually helps us to get rid of the belly fat, but as it's dropping, it's not doing its job so much anymore. So you have to do these other pieces besides just eating clean to help to remove that belly fat. Okay, but that's not the worst of it. Your cortisol blocks insulin receptors, creating insulin resistance. This is something else that is keeping us storing fat. It also suppresses your thyroid hormone conversion, which slows down your metabolism. And when I say it slows down your metabolism, it slows down your fat burning. Okay? During perimenopause and menopause, declining progesterone means you have less of natural cortisol buffer. Progesterone used to calm you down. Okay, used to calm you down, keep your central nervous system balanced. But without that progesterone, you're more reactive to stress. Your body's more reactive. You're more flight or fight mode, right? And chronic stress also disrupts your HPA axis, which controls all of your hormones. Again, all these things we're talking about, they are affecting your hormones. This is why stressed women have awful periods, they have low libido, they're exhausted, they have mood swings, they don't sleep. That's why. So what can you do to fix this one piece? First of all, you need to make sure that it's a priority. And don't be like, I don't need to worry about that. Yes, sure do. Yes, you do. Think of daily stress management as being as important as what you put in your mouth. The clean food you're eating is wonderful, but you also need to balance your stress. Here's another thing. You can eat all the clean food in the world, but if you're stressed out, your gut is going to react, which is going to cause brain fog, which is going to cause mood swings, which is going to cause you to be stressed out. So make sure you're managing your stress. It is not something that's optional. It is a must. And I tell my clients at least 10 minutes every single day of something. 10 minutes. Everybody has 10 minutes. You can do it for 10 minutes before you get out of bed, 10 minutes before you get up in the morning, if that's the only time, okay? Journaling, meditating, feet up the wall, walking in nature, deep breathing, whatever brings you joy and makes your body calm down, just do it every single day. Do the things that are going to make your body calm down. It's so important. And if you take anything away from this, this is where you probably should start, okay? And the last piece that you may be missing is prioritizing your sleep. For me, sleep is a non-negotiable. even when I'm on vacation, I love my sleep. It's so important to me because I have gone through a phase where I did not hardly get any sleep and it was not fun, and I will never go back to that place again. So I cherish my sleep and my sleep routine so that I can get sleep. And you can eat all the clean food you want, and you can meal prep and be ready for your week, but if you're not sleeping, well, your hormones are not going to reset, because this is when they reset. This is when they rebalance. This is then when your whole body is able to restore back to balance, so that it can feel nice and calm, right? And so how does this affect your hormones and weight loss? Well, during deep sleep, your pituitary gland releases growth hormone, which repairs muscle tissue and burns fat. These things are very important. Poor sleep disrupts 4 key hormones. First, your leptin, which is your I'm full hormone, drops, so you never feel satisfied and you want to eat all the things and you're hungry all the time. Second, ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, this spikes, creates cravings, and especially for carbs and sugar, which are not helping your fat loss efforts. Third, insulin sensitivity decreases, and one night of poor sleep can make you pre-diabetic for the next day. So that means even if you're just having a little bit of sugar the next day, it's going to affect your body even more. And fourth, cortisol stays elevated, keeping you in fat storage mode. For perimenopausal and menopausal women, this is critical because sleep disturbances from declining estrogen and progesterone that I've already talked about, that's happening, no matter if you want it to or not. When you add poor sleep habits on top of hormonal changes, it's the perfect storm for weight gain and metabolic dysfunction. So, how do you fix this? You protect your sleep like nothing else. Like I mentioned, mine is, it is what it is. And if people don't like it, that's okay. Work on a nighttime routine. Take your magnesium. Use some essential oils. Give yourself 9 hours of time of being in bed so that you can average 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right? If you're only spending 7 hours of sleep and you don't sleep well, you really can't get 7 hours of sleep then. Stay off the screens before you go to bed. It can be done. You can get regular 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I went from sleeping 4 to 5 hours when I was a mess hormonally because I was living in a moldy environment, and now I sleep on average 7 to 8 most nights. You just have to make it a priority like you do when it comes to feeding your body, okay? And it all comes down to these pieces, putting them together. Clean eating provides the foundation. That's a good start. It's a great start. But if you're not seeing changes, then you need to look a little bit deeper, okay? But when you're in perimenopause and menopause, your body needs comprehensive support. These things that I talked about, they're all connected. So poor sleep increases your stress. Stress affects your digestion. Poor digestion means you can't absorb the nutrients you need from eating all those healthy foods. Nutrient deficiencies affect energy. Low energy means you skip your workouts. Less muscle mass slows down your metabolism. You see, it's just this big cycle. One thing affects the other, so we need to put the pieces together to get the results. And don't try to fix everything at once. Pick one area that resonated with you most. If you're always tired, start with that sleep. Focus on your sleep. If you're stressed out and overwhelmed, focus on stress management first. If you're eating only twice a day, try eating a few more meals. Make sure you're eating right away in the morning. If you're not eating enough calories, eat more food. That's a simple one for me. I love to eat food. Track one thing for 2 weeks and then add something else on. Keep in mind that even if your doctor is saying to you, it's okay, it's normal, you're aging, you're in menopause, you're not broken. You're not doing anything wrong, okay? This is not normal. You can fix this. Clean eating is important, but it's just one piece of a bigger puzzle. When you address the whole hormonal ecosystem, that's when everything falls into place. What I talked about today, it's how I live my life. It's how I get results. It's how I feel my absolute best. So I hope you found this useful, and if so, please leave a review and subscribe to the podcast or to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, share with your friends, your coworkers, anyone you know who is struggling to feel good in their body despite eating clean, or if they've been dismissed by a doctor that tells them this is aging, it's just normal. They don't have to feel this way. They definitely don't. Okay? I appreciate you so much. Thanks for listening, and until next time, bye. Thanks for tuning in. If today's episode hit home, make sure to subscribe to the show and share it with a friend who needs it too. And if you're ready for more support, come hang out with us in the Fit Chicks and Hormones community. The link is in the show notes. And until next time, keep showing up for yourself. You deserve it.